Okay, today is March the 2nd, 2018, and right now at 11:25, we have a temperature of 46 degrees in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 95%. Dew point is 44 degrees, and the barometer is at 30.02 inches. And today we had 1 3/8 of an inch of rain, 1.375 inches. All right, so we're not sure about tomorrow. If we look at some of these maps here, the western U.S. water vapor map, we can see quite a bit of manipulation here on this former gale force storm system. We actually can see some clockwise rotation inside that vortex. If you look at this in the SSEC water vapor map, right here, we can actually see some clockwise rotation right in the middle of this spinning vortex. Also, there's a couple of right angles. We can see those right here. There's a right angle up here. So there's a lot of manipulation going on in this weather system to break it down. Also, there's a blockade of high pressure right over here to prevent this next, this is a storm right out here. This is all blockaded. This weather system here is blockaded. Let's go back to the big map. We can see that much better here in a second. But this clockwise rotation in the middle of a low pressure system is all the proof we need to know that there's weather manipulation going on right here. We have clockwise rotation. That's descending air. That's high pressure being forced into the center of that low. What does that mean? Well, that upends the CO2 argument as far as climate change and global warming goes. This is just nothing more than weather manipulation via satellite transmitters. Let's take a look at the big map, the water vapor map right here. We can see that next storm right up here. This is moving towards the west coast. We can see a right angle up on that system as well, right near Alaska. I didn't pull up an Alaska map, but we could surely see that right angle right there much better. Out here we have a gale force system just northwest of the islands right here. This is sitting more or less stationary, but all the moisture from that is drifting towards this low pressure over here, which is blockaded with high pressure. So we have moisture flowing towards low pressure, but look what's happening here. We have a blockade of high pressure, and we can see that filling out right here. And all that is going to be forced down and around and into Southern California, but as we can see, everything is drying out down here as well. So if you go to the IntelliCast Doppler map right now, let's take a look at that. And while that loads, we'll go back to these other maps. We can see here on the infrared map, we've got this developing storm right here, which has a right angle right there, actually a rectangle, right towards the very beginning of that loop. And so this should have been a rainmaker, certainly more than 1 3/8 of an inch. That's what we got here in the foothills of Los Angeles. And we can see that the jet stream flow is moving right into Southern California. And yet the rain is pretty much stopped. There was a forecast for rain tomorrow, but I don't believe that's going to happen. All right, let's take a look at the Doppler map here. We have the west coast. I'll have to come back to that map. It's not working too well. All right, here we go. Yeah, we can see some rain here in Orange County and San Diego County right down here. Most of the rain up in our area has pretty much stopped. You can see some snow up here in the mountains, up looks like the Big Bear area, Lake Arrowhead, and out that way. But most of the rain is up near the Central California area, up here near San Luis Obispo and Santa Maria, and all up in this area. And up north, see a lot of snow up in the High Sierra. Okay, so that's all good. We can see some pie-shaped cutouts from those NEXRAD Doppler radar microwave transmitters, the WSR-88D. All right, so we'll have to see what tomorrow brings. It doesn't look like I think we're gonna. That's it for the rain. I don't think we're gonna get much more rain out of this system because of all the manipulation. You see that SSEC map once again, all the little right angles and the manipulation going on. Plus, we have this blockade right here. Now, out on the east coast, this is quite a weather system here. This is the storm that brought all the wind. Look at that right angle right there. This is about a 12-hour loop. No, that's not a 12-hour loop. I'm still getting used to these new maps. Anyhow, we can see a giant right angle right here on this system as it's moved out into the Atlantic. Now, look at the swell report here for the East Coast out here in the Atlantic. That storm is generating 42-foot swells right off of Virginia, right here, and the Carolinas. 42-foot swells. So this is certainly a hurricane force system. Look at that right angle on there. So this system is also being manipulated as it moves away. And we have high pressure on the backside. We see that clockwise rotation up here. Of course, these right angles are satellite transmitters, which are heating and disrupting the convective process inside of this weather system. And so that's why we have the clockwise rotation over here. And usually what happens when the center of the storm is manipulated in this fashion, we have a separation of the frontal system out here. So eventually, if they keep this up, what will happen is that this entire frontal system will split off right over here. This will be forced and separated away. That's what we're seeing right here. Okay, so that's the East Coast outlook. Over on the West Coast, we have 19-foot swells as a result of that weather system dropping down. 19-foot swells right off of Northern California, and 15 and 18-foot seas. So the Central California beaches, Mavericks and all that area, they're going to see some pretty high surf. And further out, this storm here we can see is generating 24-foot swells right out here. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's go take another look at the, here's the surface analysis map for today. And we can see look at all these low pressures. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right here, just in the on the West Coast. This is the system right here. It should be moving down, but it looks like it's been stalled into place. Here we have that storm that's moving due east pretty much. This is the one that has the rectangle on it. Shows an occluded front right where that rectangle is. That's the satellite transmitter working on the center of that low pressure system, and that's why there's an occluded front shown there. That's proof positive that there's a manipulation going on. Let's take another look at that. Right here. See that rectangle right there. That splits the front away, this portion, away from that vortex. Of course, the back side of this storm is blockaded right here with high pressure, which is preventing this next moisture field from moving into that vortex. So everything is chopped up and carefully orchestrated, and we had a light rain all day long, which added up to 1 3/8. And so I haven't totaled everything up yet. The season total, I'll have that in the next video. But as I've mentioned previously, we never have 2 and 3 days worth of rain anymore. We never have storms that last 2 and 3 and sometimes 4 days. We used to get rain that would last an entire week. That was normal. You know, in the wintertime, you'd have 3, 4, 5 days of rain and a couple of clear days, and then we get some more rain. That never happens any longer out here on the out here in Southern California. Just doesn't happen. Okay, so that's the report for now, and we'll just go ahead and leave it right here on the East Coast. Take a look at that right angle. We'll go ahead and stop that and scroll through it. Leave it right there. It's a pretty square. It's a right angle right there. It's not CO2 causing that. Okay, that's it.